think we're live. It just hasn't popped up yet. So
I have the yellow live button.
Yeah, man, we're on.
We're on. We're here.
All right, great. Hey, woo! This is going to be the HIRO Hour. This is a little special. Making comics number 10. If you guys haven't seen any of my other videos, I encourage you to go watch some. I've had some really great independent people on here. Oh, I'm going camera this time just because my guests are going camera. Otherwise,
Peer pressure.
Otherwise I wouldn't, because But so check out some of the other videos. But today is a special one. We've got Mutt-Man and we've got Macho Dan. And it's all about HIRO for this hour. They're upcoming Indiegogo. So it's great to have you guys on again. I've had both of you on before independently. But this time we're just going to concentrate on HIRO. We might talk a little bit about some Game of Thrones because I'm jazzed about that last episode I just watched. But I know I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But man, that was good. So welcome, guys. Why don't you introduce yourselves? And before we get started, I want to welcome everybody that's in chat right now. Abe Sapien's in here. I don't know how many other
and
people
me.
And you, yeah.
And we got some. There's some people watching. Looks like a few people are watching at the moment. So I'm sure we'll get some more in here in a minute.
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure everybody's calming down after that Game of Thrones episode. Didn't you guys just run a live stream too, right?
Yeah, we just did one. It was a spoiler cast for Endgame. Abe was actually in that as well, and he hung around and chatted with us. He hadn't even seen it, and he let us spoil it for him, which is really cool. Well, I mean, I guess you can decide if that's cool or not, but
very nice. All right. So yeah, go ahead, introduce yourselves if nobody knows who you are right now. I doubt it. But go ahead.
Hit it, Macho.
All right. My name's Macho or Dan or Macho Dan, whatever you want to say. I'm the writer for HIRO Blood of Patriots, and I've been a comic lover all my life. And myself and Mutt were good buddies, and we decided we were going to write and draw the best possible fun, action, exciting comic we could, and that's what we've done. And Bruce has very kindly asked us on to talk about our book and a bunch of other cool stuff. That's me.
All right. I'm the Mutt-Man, and I'm the artist for HIRO and the co-creator. And I am kind of like Macho's moral compass. I help him to know when he's gone too far and when he needs to be reeled back in, which is pretty much a full-time job. And I really love independent comics. I love mainstream comics of yesteryear. I'm kind of I'm not into the modern mainstream comics, and I'm a believer that indie comics are the next big thing. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And I've got some artwork to show too, Bruce, if I could do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Do it.
All right, let me go ahead and line it up here. Would you mind white boxing me so I can kind of talk through a little bit about?
You're pushy tonight. Why are you so pushy tonight?
Aye, Captain. No, that's a done deal. I've already got you. I got you.
Sorry about that, Bruce.
No problem.
All right,
I got you.
So yeah, this is the new cover art for HIRO Blood of Patriots.
Look at that.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, would you got the comics code on there?
Yeah, look at that, man. The comics code.
Is that legit, or is that just?
Oh yeah, no. We sent it through the comics code, and they gave us approval.
Can you believe it? They're still around.
No, that's just kind of on there for just our nostalgic purposes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This cover is I drew this kind of as an homage to the John Buscema Wolverine #1 cover.
Yeah, I remember when you were doing that. I think we were actually talking. I think you were on my stream when you were drawing that. Maybe I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, I do. I remember you mentioning it. It was a throwback to Buscema's cover. So
yeah, and I kind of I just kind of like use that kind of as my muse, and this is what came out. We recently got that got this covered by our official colorist, Vegas Day, and he's at Vegas Day on Twitter. So definitely hit him up with a follow. This guy is, I think, really super talented, and we are super happy that we have a colorist like him, because if you kind of get in here and hopefully this will come through, but some of these strokes and details and the textures, I think really define and give us kind of a color our universe that we want to build in this World War III landscape.
Right.
So I'm real happy with it, and I feel like he's the right guy for the artwork.
Yeah, it looks really good. Looks really good.
But we've got a synopsis that we've kind of revamped for this new for the new campaign. So I'd like to read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
This is your show, man.
Real pushy tonight.
No, this is your show. You go do it.
I just like giving him a hard time.
I know Macho's sitting over there unprepared, so that I had to get everything prepared. So I'm just going to try to like get my money's worth out of it.
You're not wrong.
All right, here we go. Ready? America needs soldiers, and death is no excuse. The world is at war. Russia's red threat is closing in. With limited options, the U.S. delves into the black science of reanimation. But when the experimental technology is stolen by a psychotic warlord, it's up to an unlikely team and an undead super soldier to stop him. Enter HIRO. Will it be America's salvation or its greatest sin?
Nice.
Yeah. So I think that we redid that, and I think it was important we did, because the first time we had a cool. I thought it was a cool at the time, like pitch or whatever you want to call it, but it was exciting to me, but I don't think it translated well to other people, and I think this one might translate much better. So,
well, I think that's important to note, seeing how this is making comics and about learning how to do things, learning the process and everything. I think that's an important point to make for people that are trying to do a new campaign, not sure how to do things. You've ran a campaign before and learned about things that worked and things that didn't work. And I think it's great that you're taking that knowledge and applying it to this one, trying to attempt to make it better. So,
yeah, we learned way too many things, I think. And we've never said that we were professionals by any stretch. We were definitely noobs, but we think the product is really great. The learning curve came in how to set up a campaign and how to run one. I think that was where we were lacking. That was our biggest problem. We learned a lot, and I count that as a plus. I think we figured it out a little bit, and that's what you got to do to be successful. You got to take those you got to take those failures and turn them around into success.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Plus, we're just me and Macho. We're just kind of too dumb to worry about that kind of stuff. Like we'll just keep hitting the same wall over and over again. So
what's the definition of insanity? I think that's us.
That's us. We're just going to keep making independent comics until something shakes loose, and that's us, man.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's the right attitude to have. I mean, a lot of people, try it the first time, and and it doesn't do as well as they were hoping, and so they kind of give up on it. And I don't think you're going to get anywhere if you do that. You have to learn from your mistakes or learn from a failure, and you move on and you get better and do it again and do it again, and eventually perseverance will get you there. So
yeah,
absolutely. Something into.
I gotta say, Doug Garrett, our buddy Doug, is in the chat right now, and that guy is as well, Bruce. That guy is the man. We appreciate him a lot, and he totally hooked us up with an awesome HIRO theme song like really took a lot of time, and he did like 6 cuts or something. Like he did a bunch of different cuts for us. And so that is going to be up on our Indiegogo page, proudly played on our little promo video. You'll see that soon, Doug. So I had to give him a shout out, man. He helped us out a lot.
No, absolutely. Doug has been a good Twitter friend to me so far. I mean, you know, everybody like you guys that I've met on Twitter so far have been great. You know, really good connections and networking. And Doug's one of those guys. I also want to shout out to 7 of 9. That guy. He's always. I know he's a big fan of yours. But more importantly, he's always popping in my streams. So, and I appreciate that. So.
Yeah, he's the big supporter of most indie comics, and yeah, he's somebody who's come in and seen how cool this community is, and I don't want to speak too much for you, but and just talking to him, like we've talked to him over streams, like private streams and stuff like that, and he's just into it, man. He loves creating and supporting creators. And it's awesome to have people like that you know got your back. So he's definitely a super fan, and we love him too, for sure.
Yeah.
And you're fine too, Abe. I see you in the chat. I like you too.
Abe was in here from the beginning, man. You got to give him props for that.
That's right. He was.
So when does the launch? When's the launch for HIRO?
Hit Mutt.
April 30th. That's Tuesday. Not sure what time of day yet. We've got to line it up and make sure everything's good to go before we hit the launch button. But at some point on April 30th, we're going live.
Right on. Very good.
And if you follow us on Twitter, we'll definitely tweet it out, and it'll be all over my social media.
Yeah,
we'll make sure everyone that can see knows about it or can hear.
And I'll definitely retweet it for you for sure.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think there's a couple more. I think there's a couple more campaigns launching around this time too. So.
There's a huge amount of campaigns launching, and a lot of them are people we know and really like and enjoy. So it's a double-edged sword because I am so excited to launch our campaign, and we have done a lot of work. So we've taken our whole campaign, figured out what was really good about it, and kind of put it on the drawing board, figured out what was really good about it, figured out what didn't work, redid a lot of stuff that we looked at and decided wasn't useful, and then tried to just make everything a little bit better. The perks are better. We think like what you get for the money. All of the we've given more perk options, which some people have said more. Give more perk options. Some people have said less. We went with more this time, and we've just really tried to set it up that a goal for us to get the comic made without us losing any money, and just try to be really smart on our campaign, I think. But those guys that are also launched at the same time. There's going to be some great books coming out. I'm personally excited about it, and I'll personally spend a lot of money probably next month.
I know this upcoming month is going to be I know of at least three campaigns I want to back, and So
and we've decided to put ours up. We're just going to go ahead and just be like, it's just going to be a 60-day campaign. We're just going to do it. If we make our goal before 60 days. Fantastic. If we don't, well, that'll suck. But I think we're going to make it this time. We have a really realistic goal, and we have a lot of support this time, so we're going to do it.
So, are you guys going fixed or flexible goal?
We're going
fixed again. Yeah.
Yeah, we feel like we got to get to a place where the audience is there. They want the book. The product that we're creating is something that if we spend the money to get it printed, which is a pretty penny, that we're going to get rid of the product. People actually want it.
Absolutely.
And I don't feel like, like you could just go, flexible, and you could just kind of get what you get and just do the best you can with that. but I feel like for us, I mean, we just want to know that there's an audience, and people, there's an audience that they put their money out there, put their money where their mouth is, so to speak.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I always felt like when I ran mine last year, I was talking with a friend, and he asked me the same question, flexible or fixed, and I said, well, I think flexible is good if you know you're going to produce it regardless.
Yeah.
Right? Then it's more of a marketing tool. You're throwing it out there. You're seeing how many people are interested. You try to get more people interested, but you're going to produce the book no matter what. Fixed goals are good, I think, for independent creators who actually need the money to print the book. You don't you'll have a couple grand in your pocket to do it. And it also sends a clear message to anybody backing that you're serious about it. Because if you can't, if you don't get the backers and you don't get the goal met, then you can't produce the book. And I think that it's not a cash grab at that point. It's just like, oh, this might come out if I get the money,
Right.
but I'm going to get your money anyways, right?
Right.
So
that's a good assessment, man. I really like that assessment because there are a lot of people who they're gonna put it out regardless,
right?
And like you said, they're just kind of using that as a way to kind of get themselves out there even more as for a campaign. So I agree with you, and I think that's a good assessment. And we're in that camp of like we don't have a few $1,000 to throw around for printing without somebody that we know is going to buy this book.
Right.
So
right.
That's why we're deciding on fixed and sticking with it. But we've had so many people just show enthusiasm for this, and I mean, it is just like I feel like it just keeps building and building and building. The more we talk about it, the more people are reaching out to us for different things, and it's really been cool to see HIRO begin to grow out of our little dumb idea into this whole world. Like this, it's really just developing out. And I think that people, when they see this book and the love that's put into it, and I mean, you can see that we're going for a high quality as we can possibly get. That's what we're going to try to do. And it's only going to go uphill from here. Like it's only going to get better because we're brand new at it.
Right. Right. No, absolutely. Oh, by the way, Cross Comics is in the chat. Welcome.
What's up, Rick?
Sexy Rick.
Yeah, Rick. Yeah.
Sexy Rick. Glad to have you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm glad you showed up and joined us in this the HIRO Hour. We're talking about nothing but HIRO. We might try to squeeze in some other things.
We'll squeeze in some other stuff.
Like I'm gonna unwhite box you for a second, okay?
Yeah, cool.
Okay. We can't talk about this. Star Wars Stormtrooper shirt. Who else?
Look at that. My Stormtrooper is riding a mountain bike. It's two of my favorite things in one shirt.
Nice. Okay, Mutt, what you got?
I'm having a there we go. Yeah.
It's all Star Wars. And we didn't even plan it.
Unplanned.
I didn't even send a memo. That's great. All right. So
we're all talking before we got on, we were all talking about how much we love The Last Jedi and how amazing a film that was.
Oh yes. I mean,
Bruce, you were saying it's your favorite Star Wars movie now?
I think I did. I think my exact words were, next time they put out another Star Wars movie like that, I think I will shoot myself. I think that's exactly what happened.
So you're telling me you don't like the casino scene? Is that what you're saying?
Man, I could go on and on and on, but I get labeled some sort of hater or something. But I mean, here, let me tell you this, okay? I don't want to get too deep into Star Wars, okay? But as you know, I'm an old fart, okay? And 1977 was my introduction into Star Wars.
Yeah,
A New Hope. I stood in line for about 45 minutes out in a warm Wichita, Kansas spring, summer, and to wait and go see that show. And I was very excited after I saw it. And everybody wanted to be Luke Skywalker, and everybody wanted the goddamn lightsaber. So that was my Star Wars. Okay. The new Star Wars, I'm just not into it. And like, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate over this because I've even heard people that don't like Star Wars like the throne room scene in The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was horrible. It was horrible. To me, it was just horribly choreographed. It looked fake. Everything about it, I hated. I hated it. I just hated it. I don't. You know what? I don't even want to talk about it anymore. How about that?
So wait, let me tell you this real quick,
Yeah,
because I thought I liked that scene. I thought that was probably one of the better parts of the movie until I watched this video recently, and this guy picks it apart and he starts like uncovering all these plot holes, and I was like, that might be the worst scene they ever filmed. There's like all these really terrible plot holes just in that one scene, and I was like, I cannot believe that I didn't think about that.
Did you see the video where they actually slowed it down and showed
Yes.
you where they digitally removed one of the lightsabers?
Yeah. I
sabers?
think that's the one. It got a lot. It got like
Yeah.
major, like it went viral for a couple of days. Yeah, that was the one for sure.
And that has nothing to do with Mary Sue syndrome or anything like that. It has everything to do with it was poorly choreographed, it was poorly edited, and poorly filmed. And to me, that's enough not to like that movie. But there's so many other things I just couldn't stand. So, oh well. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna wait for another movie to come out, I guess.
Well, hopefully the next one will be good. We'll see. Mutt has a lot of doubts at this point.
Yeah, I'm doubtful that they're going to be able to pull it out, but but I'm hopeful still.
Well, Mutt's kind of a stick in the mud most of the time. I'm usually the more
the ray of light.
I'm usually the ray of light in this partnership.
Right. Well, that's good. That's very good. Very good.
But yeah, so since we're here and you've so graciously invited us to talk about HIRO,
absolutely.
I want to pitch to you guys and everybody listening. Most people here probably already know and are supporting us, but I'm just going to go ahead and run down what the book's about. So Mutt gave us the elevator pitch, and I want to give you guys kind of a little bit more of a deep dive. So if you haven't read, we have a 16-page like primer issue out there. You can get it if you sign. I put a link in the thing. You probably have all read it multiple times. I know because it's so good. Mainly, I know it's so good because I wrote it, right? But that's the primer. And so basically what's going on is we have an inventor, a Russian scientist. His name's Krupin, Dr. Krupin. And he is on a program to basically save America. America's running out of ideas. Russia, the red threat, basically, not Russia itself, but the red threat out of Russia, which is a kind of a communist dictatorship movement to take over the world. It's World War III, right? They're trying to take over, and he is trying to stop them. They've moved to one of their last solutions, and that is to literally raise the dead to fight again. Yeah. And so they have a program that's not really working out. It's called the HIRO program, and it stands for Combat Reanimation. Ordinance. Combat Reanimation Ordinance. Sorry. I was trying to throw a W in there for some reason. And so the HIRO program is not working out. They're tearing themselves apart, and it's a total failure. But Dr. Krupin has a helper, or not helper, another scientist with him that gives him, he's an AI specialist, a really cool AI that he plugs in, and we're going to really see what the marriage of his bioscience and this AI are going to be able to do. Here is kind of a one-of-a-kind machine that comes out of this process, and we get to explore a lot of really cool stuff, and it's going to be like it's going to be pretty a pretty cool story, I think, with some of the things we're going to explore, but also it's going to be freaking full of action. Mutt has been saving a lot of Google images of guns, so I'm sure he's on the government's list now because he's been getting a lot of guns to put in there, because I said they got to be bigger. They got to
Russian
be
gun.
bigger, Mutt. They got to be bigger.
Yeah.
Make them bigger. And so we're getting big guns in there. A lot of weird Russian prisons and churches and all kinds of crazy stuff. And so we're really excited about it. I probably did a terrible job of that. Mutt, fill in if I missed anything.
Well, I think you just need to let people know, like, it's about the villain in this story. And I wanted to show a picture, Bruce, if I could. Would you mind white boxing me again?
I don't mind.
Here we go. Here he goes. If he's too mean to you, Bruce, like, you can tell me if he's mean to you. I'll take care of him. I'll take care of him.
No, we're good.
All right, can you see this this image right here?
Yep.
There you go.
This is the bad guy, and this is kind of an animated style of it. We just got this painted up by Ink Spots at Ink Spots on Twitter, I think. William Palacio is his name. But really cool job, I think, just kind of getting this colored up and making it look nice in 3D and kind of starting to bring our villain bad guy to life. This is kind of an animated look, but he's going to be a little bit more stoic and sinister. But he is the warmonger, the arms dealer that is the sort of the nemesis to the hero, the first hero in this story. And what happens is he steals the technology, and they have to go after Volk to get the technology back before he sells it to the Russians, to the Red Threat.
All right.
So that's kind of what's happening, what's going on in the story. And and of course, he is an arms dealer. And he's an arms dealer in the World War III near future. So he has access to many dangerous things, and they have to figure out how to get through all of those dangerous things in his compound and through his mercenaries. And so we're going to have lots of strategy. This is going to be a war comic. There's going to be lots of guns, and there's going to be lots of maneuvers and lots of tricks and lots of, cool strategy and stuff like that. And through that, we're going to really show sort of the strengths of our sort of cast of characters. And I don't know, Macho, did you mention the team aspect of this?
No, but go ahead.
So HIRO becomes part of a team. It's sort of almost like an A-team type group that is a black ops group. And it consists of Dr. Kruppen, who is the inventor of HIRO, the latest HIRO unit, which is a little robot backpack that brings a corpse back to life. And it's also going to be a sort of some new characters that we haven't revealed yet, which are going to be a part of the story that we kind of want to develop out so you can kind of see who they are. And they're going to be very integral to the story, and it's going to be a real interesting sort of team book as well.
Yeah, and
Right.
I was just thinking too earlier, actually, that a good way to think about HIRO, because where Mutt's calling him, he's like this HIRO unit. You know how Black Panther, for example, like there's always a Black Panther, like T'Challa's our Black Panther, but his father was a Black Panther, right? So
Right.
there's always one of those. Well, this HIRO unit, different bodies can be different heroes, I guess. HIRO, hardware integrated reanimation ordinance. So, and the kind of cool twist about HIRO himself, this unit, is that, like I said before, it has that AI, and it is able to learn. And we've said before in streams that it can become self-aware, and there's a really neat way, a very interesting way that happens in the book that you guys are going to see. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it'll be kind of like the black another way to look at it is the black costume and Venom.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship. So the backpack, it's a robot, and so it seeks out people whose and Dan's been studying the brain a lot more than me, so he can speak to this better. But
Yeah.
there's a certain kind of chemical that goes to the brain whenever someone is rushing into a dangerous situation, being brave.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is what the HIRO robot actually is attracted to and looks for. and that's what will cause him to sort of select on the battlefield the corpse to bring back to life.
Okay, so the human or the soldier part is not really the character. The character is more
Right.
or less the unit, right?
The soldier is the ride.
Right.
The actual character is kind of the unit. I mean, and it's yes and no. I mean, the
It's
character,
symbiotic.
it's symbiotic. So the hero that has died will be part of that character, but they're not always going to be part of that character. The next person that it selects will be the new character. So, like he said, that Venom suit is that's probably the best example, because the symbiote definitely
it has its own consciousness.
Yeah, it's been on Eddie Brock. It's been on whoever else. Flash Thompson. Yeah, and so it's kind of that kind of a take on that, I guess.
Okay.
I never thought about that before, but yeah.
Yeah, so the robot, if you can see my screen here, the robot backpack is the hero unit. This is a unit. It's a piece of ordnance, right? But it's also a walking, fully automated robotic unit. And so it jumps
on one of those. It's like one of those Boston Dynamics things.
Yeah. If one of the Boston Dynamics things went into the battlefield, jumped on a dead body, and brought it back to life,
drilled into your head and brought it back to life.
Yeah. So so like this right here that you're seeing happening right here, it's called the neural bridge, and what it does is basically this is a process that the unit performs to bring the corpse back to life.
Right.
And so when the corpse comes back to life, it's a super soldier. Muscled up, hulked up super soldier, like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, that's cool. Very unique, and I like the idea. I like the idea that it could basically. So in the course of the story, it could just change from soldier to soldier depending on probably what the condition of the soldier. Like if the vehicle gets beat up enough, it could switch again, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So like if someone it's sort of looking for a heroic person, someone that's rushed into battle willingly and become a martyr, so to speak, someone that's given their life for their country. That's kind of what it's looking for. And when it finds it, it'll use that vehicle as long as it can until it's too damaged to use any longer.
Right.
Yeah, and it's an easier vehicle to operate for the hero unit, because it's already looking to serve and to like it has bravery and valor and all that. So
right. It wouldn't just pick up some like bum on the street.
Yeah, exactly. Like
it wouldn't work.
Yeah, like if it picked up Mutt, it would spit him right back out.
Or me, it'd probably complain about arthritis or something.
It would walk right. It would walk right over my body. It would rather keep walking.
Right.
So I was seeing something too. When Mutt was showing some of those images, it made me think. And this is not something I've put out yet, but I think it's kind of exciting. So I'm going to say it now. So too bad if you don't like it, Mutt. I'm just going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. But I have been in talks to if anybody's seen the blockheads. Have you seen that on Twitter? The guy that does like it's like folded paper, but they're like action figures, and they kind of resemble like a Funko Pop. All right, and I've been talking to the guy who does that. I'll find a link here in a second, and he's going to do one for us. We're going to have a hero blockhead, and we're super pumped about it.
Nice.
So we're going to see how. What's that?
I was just going to ask you to have that as a reward.
I think so. What I think we're going to do is, and we've talked about this, and if we get it in time, if everything works out, so this is not a guarantee, but if it works out, we're gonna print those off, and we're just going to include it in the book to anybody who gets it. Okay. So you can cut it out yourself. It'll be printed, and you can make your own. So we just thought that'd be cool. It's cheap enough. Like we're not going to charge for that. So
that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I've been checking it out and talking to I forget the guy's or I forget whoever it is his name, but it's going to be neat. I'll put a link to it in a second.
That's a lot different than the virtual high fives, right?
Oh gosh, yes.
Are you doing that again?
So for everybody in the campaign. So what I'm going to do, my plan is this time is all the original backers that backed us the first time, part of their perks, which we've shared out the perks for the original backers, and part of the perk is if you're rebacking, you still get the Macho half five, but that's for the OBs.
All right.
So if you weren't an OB, I was like, if we get, I just can't do it. I can't. I don't know if it's a smart move. So all the OBs get them. I will tweet them all out or share them all to all those folks. But yeah, it's OBs better get a high five. Don't worry, Seps, you'll get a high five. No questions about that. You might get 2 or 3. You'll be sick of them. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I decided that everybody getting one's gonna be a tall order for me.
Right on. Well, I mean, at least you're honoring the original, the
yeah,
backers. So that's good. Because I've thought about when I go back to relaunch. I mean, with Indiegogo, right? I get the emails from the backers, right? And I can contact them through email and let them know I'm doing the launch again, and then offer them a little something special since they backed it the first time and had some faith at the beginning. So
yeah. That was what we did. We talked about it a lot, and the people that invested in us the first time, we really wanted to kind of spoil them. That's a word we kept throwing around, is we wanted to spoil them because they really believed in us the first time, and so that's our plan, and we've shared it out. And I'll just go over it again. But basically, we have a special perk that is only available to the people that backed us the first time around. And you could certainly back at a higher tier if you want to, and we will still probably include some of the stuff. I haven't talked to Mutt about that, so I hope he's okay with that. But maybe we can work something out. But what you'll get is if you do that $25 tier, it's a special OB only, and what you get is 2 copies of the book, not 1 but 2. You get a custom OB only, original backer only sticker, a custom original backer only patch, and a custom original only backer poster. So all that stuff, and it is just for original backers. We're gonna have those things for people that are not original backers, but these folks get the special stuff too. So we're kind of excited about that.
Well, yeah, that's great.
And free shipping, no shipping at all for $25. We thought that was a pretty killer deal.
No, that is. Have you went in price shipping?
Yeah, we're probably going to lose money.
Shipping, that's always been my. If I had one, not negative, but if I had one challenging thing, I think that Indiegogo campaigns or any kind of crowdfunder has to deal with, and that's shipping on books. It's outrageous. I mean, it's outrageous if you get any international orders. I mean, it's just simply so expensive. I just can't even believe it. And that's something I tried to figure in when I was doing it as well. And it just I tried to come up with a number that was fair, like for domestic shipping, and then one for international, and just hope that people were okay with that, because I don't know if people understand just how expensive it is. It's very expensive to ship, and I wish there was a way around it, and I don't know if there is.
A lot of people are getting heat for it too from backers, and like we're gonna have to put our international at a certain number. We just can't. It can't be less, because Mutt was pricing some stuff because we have an original backer from where is he? Is he like Singapore or something like
Singapore,
that? And it's like $30 or $40 is I think what he was saying to ship that kind of stuff out there. It's not cheap, and we're going to lose money, major money on that one. But it was important to us to get that out, so we're going to deal with that. But other international like backers that are not OBs, they're going to unfortunately have to pay the higher shipping. It's just expensive. It just is, unfortunately.
Well, here's my thought on this. There are so many indie creators out there now, so many people who've done Kickstarters or Indiegogos, successful ones, right? This is the kind of information that is very helpful to share with fellow creators, instead of like, and I know, and I'm almost positive that it's not a purpose, it's not done on purpose or whatever, but this kind of information is crucial to somebody trying to do a crowdfunder, just to be able to share. Okay, you received 500 backers. Okay, how many of those people are international? Like, what do you think your percentage is on international backers? And for somebody that's had 500 backers, 1,000 backers, 10,000 backers, to share that information would be great for like people like yourself, for like me in the future, anybody just starting to do it, because then you could determine, okay, I'll eat the shipping because I'm only going to have to ship 3 international, right?
Yeah,
right.
Just based on, unless you have a huge market overseas somewhere, like you have a bunch of Japanese that love your book and they're going to buy it, so you got 100 backers in Japan. It's hard to predict that, but any kind of relative data that you can get from other people would surely help you. Like I said, if you can estimate that you're only going to get a couple or maybe 5 or maybe 10 people from overseas buying your book, then you feel more comfortable with making a decision to say, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet on shipping, because it's not going to break you. Right. So this is the kind of information I wish everybody would share. And I'm talking about everybody. I'm not just talking about us small independent people. I'm talking about the big independent guys too.
Yeah.
This is information I wish they would share. Where are you printing? Where are you printing your book at? What's it costing you per unit? What's your shipping charges? Okay, you hired a fulfillment service. What's that costing you? What's the percentage of that? All this information would really benefit even the small guys. And I don't mean to refer to you guys as small.
No, we're totally small.
Yeah, but I think you get my drift. I mean,
absolutely
important information that I think would be incredibly helpful. So
yeah.
Yeah, and you know what, Bruce? Like when you're talking about sharing, I mean, if you could pull several of these projects and promise that if they are funded, they're going to go to one particular printer, that right there could save a lot of people a lot of money. And I think there are some people who are really working on that and trying to figure it out. And I know it's not easy, because you don't want to you sort of don't want to get in bed with a bunch of people that you're not really knowledgeable of, but at the same time, a printer would play a pretty easy game if they're looking at some of these, especially ones that have been funded before, and they kind of gamble on the fact that they could fund again and give them a per unit cost that would be really attractive for them to come over. And then people could do it or not do it, but that number would be available for people to decide on that.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think you touched on another important part, and the more business that you can drive towards a particular printer, I am sure that they would give you a much better break on per unit cost to print. And you're right about being cautious about who you get in bed with, and you got to make sure that those people are reliable, and you have to know that, okay, they're doing a campaign. If it's funded, I know that they're going to stick to the printer that we agreed on, and blah 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 blah. I get all that. So that's why it's important to establish these kind of relationships, kind of like what we're doing here. And people like Doug and people like Cody and Sporkman guys, and I can't ever remember everybody's name. I'm really bad at that. So I can't.
Who knows, man? I mean, who knows what we're going to be able to do? Like, this is literally just the bottom level at this point of like this indie scene, like all of indie stuff, like is really growing. And Mutt said it in the beginning, like he thinks that's where things are going, and I agree. So who's to say in a couple years, if we have a couple of successful campaigns, we're not able to start putting the muscle on some of those printers like that. I hope we can, and we can get some really, get prices down, or maybe there's a fulfillment service that'll be, indie focused to like get, that's like a buzzword right now, I think, indie focused, but like to get a, that stuff going. If this is a hot, scene to get like shipping stuff, because all these books are getting shipped, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it was Mutt that posted something on Twitter a couple days ago. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Do you remember what you posted about the independent or the comic scene? And
it was you commented on it, didn't you, Bruce?
Yeah, I did, because I said
I remember what it was.
I wouldn't mind touching upon that. Like when we had our little chat.
What was it?
I'll find it. You guys keep talking. I'll find it for you. I know what you're talking about, Bruce.
Okay. So that, and just like I mentioned before, that's kind of some of the information that I wish more people would share. Just because when I was getting ready to do my Indiegogo, and I wasn't sure which printer I wanted to go with, I hit Ben Hennessy up, okay, or Henderson. I think he goes by either one. I think his name's Henderson. But I hit him up to see what printer he was thinking about, and he actually turned me on to a printer in Arizona, because I was thinking about going to Print Ninja, over in China, which they have good prices. The only problem is their shipping is takes a long time. It's literally a slow boat from China. So so I was thinking about going with these people, and I did some research, and I saw that they also print Patriotica. Have you ever heard of that independent book?
Are you talking about the Heroes and Villains, or is that
I don't know if it's called.
I think they're in Arizona too. Anyway,
sorry. The printer? No. Yeah. It's not Heroes and Villains. It's oh boy, it's on the tip of my tongue.
It's okay. It's no problem. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, but and so they've been doing a lot of independent books, and I actually have a Patriotica. I contributed to their Kickstarter when they started, and it's really well printed. It's a good print job, and everything looks good. So I was thinking about going with them, and they're a little bit more expensive. But I know that people like John Malin, and I think he went with Print Ninja. I don't think that he holds any information back. I just don't know how many people actually ask him. I wonder who Ethan Van Sciver's going with his print job. It's no, that's Cautionary Comics. That's Ben's company. But I know Ben goes with the people that I was looking into. I don't know who you guys plan on going through. But I just think little bits of information, printer, like I said, fulfillment, all that stuff. I just think it would be helpful, even if you just talked about, even if you want to keep it private and stuff like that, that's fine. In case you don't want people to know how much you're spending per unit. I don't think most people would be too upset if you're trying to make a little money off making a comic book, but you know what I mean? So
yeah, I think that's what it is. People don't want you to see what people don't want to show is they don't want to show their margins, because the margin is, that's you kind of decide that if you want to have a big margin and make a lot of money on a particular thing, that's it's your business. You can do what you want to.
Right.
And if your customers see what your margin is, it might be a negative thing, so I kind of understand why people don't necessarily want to always share things out. But I also think that if you kind of believe in this sort of indie revival, it's important to have a dialogue where this kind of information is available. And I'm all about just kind of talking about it and showing it, and helping people out as much as I can, because I know what it's like to be in the dark and wonder how in the world your comparing to other people.
Yeah, and like I said, we're not Marvel and we're not DC and we're not even Image, right? And I could see those people being very concerned about other companies learning what their margins are, or even customers. I can remember the independent scene. It was called small press back in way back there. But they wouldn't be opposed. Like I could write a letter, and because we didn't have email back then. I know we just barely got off the dinosaur back then.
Did you chisel it onto a stone?
We chiseled it on a stone, and we had a big stork carry it. You've seen the Flintstones, right? Okay. So,
is that what it was about? Okay,
pretty much. But I could write a letter to another small press publisher, and ask him these questions. And most of the time, they were quick to volunteer that information, just because the independent scene back then was it was a niche of a niche market, right? And nowadays it's so much easier, to be an independent publisher, to self-publish, to do indie books, to do what you want. So much easier. And I think it would be even easier, if people would share their knowledge. I don't know, maybe that's a utopian kind of way of thinking, but I'd really like to see independent people do well. I mean, who knows? Maybe someday you do a Walking Dead, and sell 100,000 copies of your book. But more than likely, you're going to have a small market that you have to play to. And the more efficiently you can do that, the better off you're going to be, right? So.
Right.
Well, like generally speaking, now in publishing, any small market can become a big market.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now it's like all the barriers are gone. There's distribution.
Yeah.
If you're doing things digital, there's no distribution. You distribute it yourself
Mm-hmm.
to a website or whatever. If you are doing print, which I still believe in print, I believe in the power of print, and that
Mm-hmm.
it's still viable, especially for what we're doing, which is kind of an artisan thing now. Like we're making comics.
Right.
And comics are a hold, see, smell, touch, experience. So the barriers to that are even way less. I mean, a guy like me can call up a few printers, get some decent prices, and figure it out. I can get online and within a matter of an afternoon have 6 or 7 printers where I get quotes from. So, and those kinds of things weren't always so easy. It's only in the last few years that you can get the information that you're talking about, people needing to be sharing out.
Right.
So, like, especially in the case of distribution, like, Diamond is the big distributor, but really, I mean, like a guy like Doug Tenable can get 5,000 backers, and he can hire a printer and a distribution service in his own area, and he can have all of them taken care of. Now it's a higher price point, and that's the barrier that we're all facing. That's one of the last remaining barriers that we have to face, is that for us to do this, there's a higher price point, and there's already a market-based price for a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Even a 48-page comic book, double-sized or whatever, has a certain market value, and generally it's going to be less than $10 off the shelf from a major company like Marvel or DC.
Right.
And so what we have to do, the challenge that we have in this, is to sort of convince the audiences that we're going for that it's worth the extra dough, and that they're buying into something a little bit more than your basic comic book. So once we get past that hurdle and people kind of get tired of paying $6 for crap that they don't really care about, and comics that are not written for them anymore, or comics that are written for some other kinds of agendas that aren't really for entertainment anymore, they're going to start to look for that entertainment elsewhere. I don't believe that they're just going to go to Netflix and chill. I believe that comic book fans are always going to exist, that it's a certain kind of breed of person that wants a comic book, wants a graphic novel, and wants to take in the story that way. I believe that it's still the greatest medium for storytelling because of the lack of limitations in the storytelling. If you can draw Silver Surfer going through the universe and going up to the head of Galactus and speaking, You know, that's something that would take millions of dollars to produce on a screen. Even in animation, you know, it'd be very expensive. And in a comic book, you can do it in a few panels. To me, it's still the greatest medium for storytelling. For people like me and Macho to come up with this crazy story we've come up with, and just to kind of start drawing it and just start telling it, it kind of shows the power of what's possible. And that's kind of the gist of the tweet that you're referring to.
Yeah, I've highlighted it here, and what I wanted to comment on and also ask you about was, you have here that the number one storytelling medium, which you've explained, is that will make a major shift toward customized content. And I think I would argue that independent comics have always been about customized content, because not only has it been about unique and individual stories that different types of creators want to tell, right, that don't fit into this mold that's either Marvel or DC. Back then it was Marvel or DC, right? We didn't have big independent companies. I think we had Comico was a bigger one, Fantagraphics was another, and then you had the one from Britain, the UK one, Eagle. I think it was Eagle Comics did Judge Dredd. You know, they took it from the pulps and the newspaper, comic newspapers from England. But pretty much everybody else that did that was pretty much customized. I mean, it was either customized and unique to the individual writer or creator that was doing it, or it was in response to trends like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah.
A good example. When they started, that was an edgy book. Okay, I don't know if a lot of people realize, but the first five or
dark.
10 issues was very dark,
Gritty.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was more adult oriented, you know. And then it caught on and became popular, and then more kids started to dig on it, and so it kind of morphed into, you know, more to appeal to children, right, or at least very young people. But that's what I'm trying to get at. Those types of things have always been customized, and I think that the independent market will always be more niche than what the comic book industry is, because you can see it going on right now, right? Marvel, especially with Marvel, right? Marvel's comic books are trying to be lifestyle brands. They're trying to appeal to a huge range of people,
Right.
because they really believe. I don't think it has anything to do. I don't know if we want to get into this or not. I don't normally like talking about this stuff just because it's a big headache, but whatever. I'll go ahead and do it.
Do it.
Do you guys mind? I'll go ahead and do it.
Go ahead.
Do it.
I don't think, okay, just my opinion, I don't think that Marvel is purposely going out and saying, I want to piss off all these people. I want to be politically correct. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that the powers that be at these companies, Marvel and DC, and particularly Marvel, sit down and say, okay, how do we expand our market share? How do we do that? Okay, well, we have to reach new people, right? Kind of what we do as independents. We say we want to reach our audience. That's what they're trying to do. Well, that's what they think they're trying to do. We need to reach more people because we feel like our diehard comic book fans are getting older and they're dying out. Dying out in a metaphoric way, right? They're dying out. They're getting older. They're dying out. Young people don't like these, you know, titty books, or, you know, women with bikinis on that fight, or they don't like a lot of violence. They don't like big guns and a lot of pouches. And do you like that Leafield throwback? Okay.
Oh yeah, I got it, Bruce.
They definitely don't like a lot of pouches. No question about
I agree.
that.
I agree
People
with
love
you,
the pouches.
I agree with you. So they're making this decision based on, from a business standpoint. I really think that. I really don't think they sit around on the table and say, okay, how are we going to piss off these fans? Because, you know, that's not what they want. They want to make money. Money is the bottom line. So they think some genius is advising them, hey, let's let's try to reach out to all these. Oh, this is popular right now. Look at all these people being called Nazis. We're gonna throw that in a comic book, and people are gonna eat it up. But they, you see what I'm getting at? They're just out of touch with what would probably help them sell a comic book, right? So it's like that's why I think that it's a cycle. This will go on for a couple more years, and then they'll see it's not making them any money. So they're either going to go out of business or they'll change. I mean, that's what companies do. They either change if they have to change, or they go out of business. So, but so in regards to your post, though, I do think that you're correct that the small press or indie creators, I do think they're in a great position to deliver new stories because they're delivering something different than the baseline is, right? It's different than the baseline, and you're going to see that a lot of comic book fans don't always have to cling on to the superhero. I mean, you do have the superhero fans. I mean, I'm one, right? But the independents, they have the wherewithal, or they have the opportunity to go out there and experiment with the market, right? Because they're not beholden to some stockholders, and they don't have to sell 20-30,000 books. You can sell 1,000. That's how you build your audience, right? You start off selling 500 books, and then the next month it's 1,000, or the next 6 months it's another 1,000, and you slowly build it up, and you grow that readership. Yeah. And I think that's where independent comics have the advantage, because they can do that, because they're not worried about whether or not, well, we can't ruin the Spider-Man brand, because if we do, we're dead, right? Because Spider-Man makes us all the money. Right. Or you see what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I do. I think you've given a really good assessment of sort of like exactly how things have been over the last few years. But I think that I am alluding, when I say customized content, I'm alluding to something new in the sense that online shopping and the way that people are buying things now has really changed the way we think about everything. And so customized content, I'm meaning that if you can imagine it, there's probably a niche somewhere that you haven't discovered yet.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Like somebody's making this thing that you're thinking that you would like to have. Or if let's just say you're into Back to the Future, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's one of your favorite movies, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I wish they would make another good movie like Back to the Future. There's some Kickstarter somewhere, or somebody somewhere who's got a great idea on how they could make a movie like that, or make a comic book like that, or make a novel like that. And you can find that person with just a little bit of searching. And then you can get into this whole new niche of Back to the Future style content. So what I'm saying is that we're all of these indie creators that we're talking to, all of these guys, all the people that are buddies and talk about their projects, and everybody cheers everybody on because they're like, oh, cool, like a new Lone Wolf story, that's awesome, a new hero story, cool. We get into it because we're kind of like we're kind of like all in this same energy. Right? Like we like that there's all these different kinds of things that are coming up. We're not all doing a Superman type book. We're all doing different kinds of things.
Right.
And really, instead of trying to focus on the same audience, we need to be focusing on finding the unique audience that is going to be digging the exact thing that we're putting down.
Mm-hmm.
And when we find that unique audience, what you got to do is you got to figure out what it is they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody likes HIRO, why do they like HIRO? And that's why me and Macho try to have as many conversations with people as we can, especially in the chat and on YouTube. That's a great way to do it.
Right.
And on Twitter and, through DMs and stuff. I want to know what it is about it that you like, what it is about it that you want to see more of. And we are going to sort of like we are creators. We've got a story. We've got a vision for the future of our character and our book.
Mm-hmm.
But if we find that there is something about the product that we're putting out that people are really resonating with, then we're going to focus on that more, because ultimately I want to get as many eyeballs on this as possible. And I want to put out something that people really like. And so that's what I mean when I say customized content. because as indie creators, we can kind of, you know, shift a little bit. You know, if people are digging like a certain character, like a good example is Richard C. Meyer. He put out Jawbreakers, and within the first couple of panels, he had that one character named Zashi, I think it was, or something like that.
Right.
And, you know, all of the dudes were like resonating with how cool she looked and what her character was like. And the next thing you know, he's kind of shifting to showing her more and having her be a more important part of the storyline. And that's because he's got a good sense of business, and he understands that, just like, you know, just like he always talks about hot dog stands, you know,
Yeah.
you give the customer what it is they want. And as creators, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make a whole universe here. We're trying to make something important. And you got to have customers to do that.
Right. And I also think it's important to make a distinction. I agree with you, by the way. I also think it's important to make a distinction between doing something to meet a demand, right? Just like you said, and then doing something just because you want to do it. And if 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 the interest is not there, then that either tells you A, you're not very good at it, or B, or B, that's it's not going to sell. So if you don't want to adjust, then you just have to deal with the fact that, okay, I like a certain thing that some people just don't like, and I'm not going to be able to sell it, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's important that you mentioned, you know, Richard Meyer, and that the fact that he's business first, right? He's business first. There's some creators, some indie creators out there that are going to do what they want to do, and to hell with everybody else, right? I mean, what's a good example? I don't know. I've never talked to the guy, so I'm not. I don't pretend to speak for him whatsoever. But the book Rags, right? You guys ever read that book?
Yeah.
I haven't read it.
Okay, it's a very good book, and when I read it, I kind of took it as a an allegory for like PTSD, right? Rags is always naked because she always feels vulnerable, right? Because of PTSD.
Mhm.
And the reason why she can't find clothes is because she can't get over the fact that she always feels vulnerable. So he kind of relays that to the reader by making her naked all the time, right? Trying to find pants or whatever. That's just my interpretation. It might not be right or whatever. So if he had, I don't know, but I'm going to assume, and that's probably not the smart thing to do, because, you know, you assume shit, it makes an ass out of yourself. So, but I'm going to assume that if he had 100 people write to him and say, you know, I like the book, but I wish Rags was a dude, right?
Yeah.
Would he change it? I don't know. I'm thinking he probably wouldn't, because that's the story he wants to tell, right?
Mhm.
And he's trying to reach the people that want to read that story, right?
Yeah.
And so, but purely from business, if the majority of his readers wanted that character to be a male, then, you know, if he's strictly in it for the business proposition of it, he might consider changing it. I don't know, you know. But
No,
like I
this is-
said,
yeah,
I'm
no,
just
this
using
is-
that.
yeah.
I'm just using that as an example. I'm not trying to speak for him at all. Whatever.
That's a good,
Like I said,
it's a good distinction. It's definitely a good conversation.
yeah,
Because you know, you are creating something that has some artistic value, and if you as the creator are not going to create something you don't love, right?
right,
Because why
right.
would you even do it in the first place?
right.
And so all of these things that we're making are all things that we love first. But the reality is, and I think this is where people get a little bit too pie in the sky when they kind of put their artwork out there.
Right.
Their belief is that well, not everyone's, but a lot of people believe that, you know, hey, if you don't like what I'm making, then don't buy it.
Right.
And I think that mentality is what has really damaged comic books, because people put the format of comics, the storytelling powerhouse of comics, as a sort of unimportant thing. But the fact is that if you have an audience that's engaged with it, then it can be an enormous industry. You know, there could be something for everybody, but you do have to have kind of the ability to take your creation and shift it at least a little more toward what people are wanting. It doesn't have to be, it's just a give and take. It's kind of it's a dance, you know?
Yeah, it's a delicate line to try to, you know, balance on, because it's exactly what you're saying. I think I think when people are doing their original content, like you guys, we're talking about Hero. I'm sorry we've kind of
It's all good, Bruce. It's
digressed
all
over
good.
to this, but let's take Hero for example. You guys had this great idea. Yeah, you put pen to paper and you're going to make a go of it, right? It's a story that you've got in your head. You want to get out there, and you're going to attempt to sell it, find your audience, and sell it, right? That is completely different than writing Captain America as a Hydra agent, right? Because, well, I mean, I'm being serious. It's like Captain America has years and years and years and years of backstory, source material,
Yeah.
a perceived way of being, right? And when someone comes in and they want to mix it up because this is a story I want to tell. I want Captain America to be some scumbag, right? It's like, okay. And then you expect everybody, it's just like you said, then you expect everybody who like Captain America to like it. Well, that's not Captain America to them, right? So, of course, they're not going to like it, right?
You
And
picked the most emotionally charged example you could possibly have picked out. Me and Macho we hated that whole
Wait,
Hydra
don't
thing.
say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. He hadn't seen it yet, Mutt.
No. I'm talking about the
Okay.
comic books. I'm talking about
Okay.
what they did to Captain America in comic books, and it was the most. I
Yeah.
hated it.
It was terrible.
Absolutely hated it. And you're right. You're exactly right with your example. Go ahead.
Yeah.
yeah, and so what you were talking about explicitly applies to that type of thing, right? Because it's like, don't tell me, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Well, of course, I'm not going to buy it if I don't like it. Don't be an idiot. But you've taken something that other people have tried to develop and build an audience with it, and now you've just turned it on its head, right?
Exactly.
So it's not about whether or not, if I don't like it, I'm not going to buy it. It's about, you've taken something that I liked, right, and that was good, or a lot of people thought was good, and you've tried to write yourself into it, right? You tried to write it the way you wanted to, which as a writer you can do, right? Nobody's stopping you from doing it, but don't be surprised if it's not received well, right?
Right.
But that's different than if you take your own personal creation and you say, okay, this is my story I want to tell. I'm throwing it out there. And then you find out, well, man, I only had 50 backers and like nobody, I don't think anybody likes it. You know, I don't think, or you put it out there and people read it and you get all these bad reviews. I can't, let's say if I did that with the rec, right? Let's say I go back to do the rec, I get 200 backers, I print the book, I send it out there. Some people review it, and 9 out of 10 reviews say, man, this is pure trash. I hated it, right? Then I have to accept the fact that, okay, it didn't resonate with those 200 people that bought it. Okay, that would be the pie in the sky, it's not my fault type mentality. Or I could just look at myself and say, okay, I need to go back through here and see what I screwed up and why people don't like it. Doesn't mean I have to change it to try to, you know, my overall story, but I do need to find out why people don't like it, right? So I think in a way you're correct. I think but I definitely think you're correct in the way that it applies to old source material. You know, I can't. It's like going to McDonald's, right, and ordering a quarter pounder, and they give you a fillet of fish. Well, I didn't order a quarter pounder. Well, too bad. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Okay, I'm not going to buy your quarter pounder. That's a fillet of fish, right? So,
yeah.
You know.
Look, man, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but
Okay.
I'm just going to say that in game, I wrote that tweet after watching Endgame. Okay.
Okay.
and I can see where people's sort of like creative. I can see where people are shifting on a lot of these characters. Or
Mhm.
I feel like I can see sort of the future. When you're talking about Marvel being a lifestyle brand, you're absolutely right. And Marvel is going to sort of take everything that's been created and kind of make all these little mini brands, little mini
Right.
IPs that they kind of, and that's what Disney does. Disney does that better than anybody.
Yeah.
So that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And they'll have some success there. People will wear more Spider-Man shirts, and there'll be more, cool stuff that comes out for a lot of these, big characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe what ultimately is going to happen through that, and what we've already seen in the printed comics, is whatever you put in a comic book becomes canon, right? For a lot of
Right.
these characters. And so people are leaving these books in droves. I mean, how many people
Yeah.
are buying Thor right now, And he's one of the most important iconic characters in cinema.
Right.
Billions of people are watching Thor on the big screen. But how many people, I don't know the numbers,
My
but
wife included.
you
Yeah.
know, I mean, how many people are actually buying the Thor comics and following the adventures of Thor into all of these different cool, it's crazy to have these mini brands, these IPs be so popular in the world, but they can't sell a comic book. And that shows you that they have lost their ability to kind of like uh, carry that character. And what it comes down to is stewardship, and stewardship is an attitude. And you have to love the thing that you're stewarding.
Absolutely.
And
You
so
can't. Yeah.
we have a character that we've created, and we're going to steward this character and the storyline as best we can. And if we
Right.
get feedback that we feel like is on point, it's like just like with anything. People
Mhm.
are going to give you all kinds of feedback, and you have to decide what is something you should listen to and what is something you should ignore.
No, exactly. Exactly. If I could use my metaphor of McDonald's again, if you go to McDonald's and order a quarter pounder and you get it and the meat tastes like horse meat, right?
Yeah.
You could go back and say, "Hey, you know what? The burger tastes like horse meat. Okay, we'll check into that. We'll make it taste better. It's still a quarter pounder, right? But there was something flawed about it where people didn't care for it, so they're tweaking it. Like I see nothing wrong with that. It's when you go for a quarter pounder, they send you a fillet of fish, and you bring it back and say, "I don't want this quarter pounder. It's a fillet of fish." And they say, "Oh, too bad." That's, that's
Yeah.
what it is now. Our
Yeah.
quarter pounders are fillet of fish.
That's right. That's right.
So
The best,
I mean,
the best analogies in the business, Bruce.
so, but yeah, I didn't want to dive too deep in that, but I did want to bring it up because I know I posted on your tweet there, and
Yeah.
I kind of just wanted to touch on it. I just, if it's the same thing where if Marvel puts out a book that I find to be total crap, and a lot of the comic book fans find it to be total crap, and they think that they're expanding their market by inviting all these new buyers in, which it's not happening. You know, to me, I struggle with the idea of what happens if somebody reviews. I don't know. God, I hate throwing names out there because then I'll find myself on Twitter, people mentioning me, and I'll be getting in trouble. But like, what if when Cyberfrog comes out, somebody reviews it, honestly, an honest review, and they say, "Man, I didn't like it."
Yeah.
Are they going to get bashed because of that, or is it going to be, well, you know, I know a lot of I know a lot of the fans of that personality will be upset if somebody says they don't like it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way that Twitter seems to be anymore. But you know, I'm hoping that people can take that and take it for the and take it with the intent it was, that it was
Yeah.
intended to be. You know what I mean? So, but we'll see. Like
Oh, it's all about the individual creator. If the individual
Mhm.
creator wants to wants to be in the business and wants to have success, then obviously they have to be able to take criticism and understand it, you know,
right,
and
right,
not get upset by it, or
right.
and also it's really important to be able to ignore stupid criticism, because some people just criticize from a place that they're just
Yeah.
ignorant of, and you just have to be able to just, you know, kind of weed out the good, the bad from the good, but taking real criticism that hits home and is right on, that's tough, man. That's tough
No,
to do. But if you can do it, then you'll find a lot more success.
oh, absolutely. You learn a lot more as well. I mean, I know that being an artist, I'm sure you do the same thing. So anyways, I guess we can get back on track here. So HIRO launching on Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's
Tuesday.
right.
You don't have the exact time set up yet, right?
Correct. But we'll be tweeting it out that day, I'm sure.
All right. That's great. Is there any specific thing that you're here's a question I always ask independent creators, and I'm curious to see what your answer is. The financial goal that you have set, I don't know what it is yet, but is that more important to you? I mean, obviously you want to meet the goal so you can print the book. So that goes without saying. But like I'm sure you have stretch goals and, you know, things of that nature. Is the total dollar amount more important to you than total backers?
Good question. I've got my own answer on that, but I'll let Macho give his answer on that too.
Okay.
Sure. Go. You can go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think that there's a great emphasis on backer amount, and I think it's something that's very important. But I also believe that there's some situations, and I think ours is one of them, where just reaching the financial goal is the seed that you need to plant so that you can really begin to grow the number of backers that you'll have in the future. Because for us, we truly believe in the product, right? And we need to make this product for you to really, because it's a little bit more of I guess maybe a complicated story. It's not one of those things that's real easy to pitch real quick. You know, it's not gimmicky so much. It takes a little bit of explaining, and so for that reason, we believe that that when people get into the story, see where we go with it, and see where we leave that first book, we truly believe they're going to want more of that because they're going to understand it more fully. So for us, getting it printed and getting it distributed and having some sort of like, you know, opinion makers talk about it, that is probably going to be for us in this first campaign more important than the number of backers.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, okay. I guess maybe I was misunderstood. Let's say this. I don't know what your goal is, but I'm just going to throw a number out there. So let's say your goal is 5,000, right? Would you rather have 1,000 backers at $5 a piece, or would you rather make $10,000 with 100 backers?
At that point, if I'm gonna make the goal, I mean, I think I'd rather have more backers. If you're asking the question that way, because I want people to be excited about it, and I want there to be a large amount of people that enjoy it. So I guess that's where my head's at there. So yeah, if I'm making it, I'd rather have more backers. I think money's great. Don't get me wrong. I'd like to have the money, but
give me the money.
at this point, for me, and I'll speak for myself, and if Mutt agrees, he can say so. But at this point, for me, it is more important for me to get the book out and for people to read it and enjoy it than it is for me to make the money at this point. If it is successful and I can make some money, I'm going to be thrilled. But we got to tell the story, and it's something we really believe in. We've been working on a long time, and I think he really hit it, saying that it's a bigger story than we can really pitch in a short elevator pitch. Like it just is, and some stories are that way. You can't always condense it down to like 3 sentences, and so yeah, I think that's my answer for that. I don't know how you feel, Mutt.
Yeah, I think if you're saying we can fund with more backers at a lower rate, or we can get a big number with less backers, I'd say get it funded with more backers at a lower rate.
Yeah,
I think that's probably your sweet spot,
Yep.
in this game. Because you want as many people with eyeballs on this as possible, because that's what's going to grow the IP.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, and I wasn't going to chastise you if you didn't answer my way.
We're really worried about Bruce getting on our case.
Yeah, because I'm such a mean asshole.
I know.
But I'm always curious about that, because I see some people raise, $10,000-$20,000, and they have 200 backers, and I'm like, well, that's fantastic. I mean, congratulations.
Yeah.
You may, but you've only got 200 backers. You sold 200 books, basically, right?
Yeah.
And I would, and me personally, my own personal opinion is I'd like to have a lot more backers and get the money I need to fund it, obviously, but have more backers doing it, So
Yeah.
I don't know. So
we totally expect HIRO to be kind of a slow burn, not kind of a slow burn type of IP, because as people kind of get into it and talk about it and enjoy it, and they'll get into the complexities of it, and they'll start to understand it a little better. It'll take a little time, but we believe that we're making something with quality and with lasting power. And so, we're just going to keep at it, man. It's just one of these, we're building a pretty big house. And so we're going to have to just take it with what we have to work with now, with a small budget, and with, 2 people with careers who are doing this part-time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just going to chisel away at every aspect of it the best we can, and just watch it build and build and build. But eventually, we'll have the audience that we need to really get it to, take off the ground. But this first campaign is really, our first campaign we failed, and then this second campaign, it's about getting funded, man. That's what it's about.
No, absolutely. And I think you guys will this time. I mean, I don't know what your goal is, but
I mean, we can tell them the goal, right, Mutt? That's not a
yeah,
secret,
man. Go
right?
ahead, man. That's fine.
Our goal for to get the book printed. If we make $3,800, that's going to happen. So that's what we need.
I mean,
a low goal.
Yeah, that's not a lot of money. And I think the more you guys pump it, the more you guys hype it, I think you can get there, because you guys got quite a bit of followers out there, some dedicated people like 7 of 9.
Yep.
And I think Abe's out there too.
Abe's out there, yeah, absolutely. And I think we're pretty confident this time. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of other books coming out, but we got a long runway. 3,800 is not crazy at all, and we're hoping that we get to our first. We have a stretch goal at 5. We're hoping we get there too. We'll talk about that later. That's not really important at this point, but we're confident, and we're just going to keep pumping it out. And a lot of the same people that are putting books out are also friends, and there's a lot of cross promotion because they're good people. And they're going to help us, and we're going to help them. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's how we're going to work it.
Yeah, that's what this whole indie scene's about, man. We got to help each other out if we want to be successful.
Absolutely.
So, one thing I did find out that did well for me, even though my failed campaign, was the sending books to the troops through. I don't know if you guys are doing that, but that always was a good sell.
Yeah, so the first time we did it, and it wasn't. We didn't. I don't think we were sending enough books. And this time I bumped up the amount of books that would be sent. We did have a few people do that perk. We're making sure. Yeah, we're sweetened it for sure. Every perk got a little bit better. And when people look at it, you'll see that every perk definitely got a little bit better. Either in it costs less, or you get more with the perk. One or the other is going to happen.
Right.
And like that for the troops. And this book is patriotic. Like, we really are hitting the patriotic chord with this thing, and like pro-military. Mutt and I both come from an area of a lot of respect for people like my dad was in the armed forces. He served, and so I have a lot of respect. if I see a gentleman with a hat that says he served in Vietnam or something like that, I go up and I shake that hand. I take my daughter and she needs to shake his hand too, because we have a lot of respect for those people, and it's important to us to get that perk hit too, if we can. So yeah, we're gonna see what happens.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, are you offering original art for sale as well?
We actually have put in original art. We've added original art to 2 or 3 of the perks that we had last time, but they didn't include original art. Now they do.
Yeah.
So we've kind of upped the original art game as well.
Yeah. That's better. We're just gonna be like, we've worked it out with printing, assuming that goes through the way we want, and I think it will. I don't have any reason to believe it won't, but and some of the things, the extras we're getting, we didn't have a lot of extras last time, and we found asking people and looking, it seems like there's people like extras. They like little things that come with the book, and I don't blame them. I like it too. So we're putting some of those in, and it's an easy thing to include to get people more excited about purchasing a book at not a lot more money. So that's the plan, and we're looking for things that we can ship easily in that like Gemini mailer, and not having to bump up shipping, not having to bump up the whole cost of the project or of like specific tiers.
Right.
We think we got that figured out pretty well too.
Nice. So, man, we went an hour and a half. I'm sorry, guys. I just got
don't apologize. We love talking to you.
So, but now you guys you have a pre-launch page?
We do. I did put it in the chat earlier. I'll drop it again in just a second.
Yeah, and Bruce, I sent you a bunch of links too. I don't know if I sent you the right ones or not, but I thought I sent you a bunch of links.
You probably did. It's just I've been busy. I don't know. Is Doug still in here?
He might be gone. I don't know.
He might be. Doug, are you in here? I'll give you.
By the way, dude, we saw your Lone Wolf cover, and it is so freaking cool.
Oh,
man.
yeah. He shared it to us.
Thanks, man. That's all I was going to ask him, if I could share that, whether or not he wanted to let people know.
I don't know if he's I don't know if he's put it out there yet for the public, but I think he has shared it on our little our group chat.
Yeah, it
awesome. Is nice. I love it.
It's really good. And have you seen it colored? Or did you color it?
Well, yeah, I colored it reluctantly, but I colored it. But
it looks good. You did great. It looks good.
No, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I had something to finish up for Juan Pool, and then Doug asked me to do this, so I had that to finish, and I wanted to get you guys on, and I did last week's talk, and so yeah, I just been like swamped with stuff I need to do, so I probably missed those links, but I promise you I will put them in there. I promise.
You gave Macho a wrench, so he's probably rocking it.
Yeah, I put our pre-launch page. If you haven't signed up, there's not a ton of people watching, but if you haven't signed up, sign up there. If you already have our 16-page issue, you'll get that again if you want it. If not, you're just going to be helping us out, and you'll get updates for the campaign. It's only a couple more days, and we'll be going live and getting that going. We think we're going to come out of the gates pretty hot. We're excited. We have a bunch of support. I've gotten DMs and just communication from a number of people, and it's been cool. I believe we're going to be on Nasser's stream on launch night. I believe we still got to do some work out some details with him, but if not, we'll be doing our own thing, or we might even be doing that too. So yeah,
that's what I was going to ask you, if you're going to do any more streams between now and Tuesday, and then if you were going to do a launch stream. So
yeah, we'll do one. We'll probably depending on what we do with Nasser. If we do his, absolutely be on there, and then we'll probably do something our own too, and just stream and talk about stuff and everything. So
the problem is that
so that's gonna be exciting.
The problem is me and Macho have to go to work that day too.
I know, right?
So we're gonna be like, we'll be at work, but we'll be thinking about the campaign all
the whole
day.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if you should just wait till you get off work and then launch it. That way you can give it 100%
Yeah.
attention. I don't know. But
Yeah, we might have to, or launch it later in the day, maybe.
yeah.
But we'll kind of give the heads up on that. I think too. We have some people we got to let know ahead of time, but yeah.
Right on. Right on.
Uh,
Mighty Geek Studios in the chat.
What's up, Mighty Geek?
What up?
What's going on, man?
What's going on,
I
brother?
was gonna say too on Wednesday. There's a thing going on Tyler Carpenter. He's doing this draw and talk thing for writers, and he's gonna just drop a link in the chat, and whoever gets on, it's like a March Madness tournament, and you have to like do pitches until it gets down to the final person, and you get a pitch every round, and whoever wins gets like $200 or $200 towards getting like a 2-page comic made.
That's
And
awesome.
and I'm gonna do that, and I'm telling everybody here right now that I'm taking that win.
Trash talking already, huh?
I have this this document on like that's shared between my computer and my phone where I just write down ideas, and
Oh my
I have
god!
a bunch of like I send them to Mutt all the time, and he's just like, just put it in the book, whatever. But I got all these ideas. I'm taking people down. I'm not playing around.
Yeah.
I want to show them.
Yeah.
Number one, we're launching, and number two, after they see this stream, they'll be like, "Dang, Macho has some ideas. I better get that book."
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I also call him he's the mad thinker. Remember that character, the mad thinker? That's
Yeah.
Macho. He's the mad thinker, and if everything he came up with became something real, it'd be
You'd
light
be
years
rich.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if that ever happens.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, is there anything else you guys want to share, talk about?
Hey man, just back the book. Anybody that
Yeah.
watches this video, please back the book. And
Yeah.
we promise you, we will give you 110%, and that we will do the absolute best book we can do. And we were going to give you an adventure that'll be fun. We're going to give you some escapism. It's going to be some brutal action, and it's going to be some real fun, high stakes type stuff. We're going to take it seriously. It's not going to be silly. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got nothing else to add to that. That was great.
Yeah, well, like I said, I really appreciate you guys coming on tonight. It's been a lot of fun. I wish I could do this for another hour, but I think my wife would shoot me. But
Yeah, no, I gotta go upstairs, get a bed.
but I appreciate everybody coming in chat and whoever participating in the chat. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. I really need to find out if people are enjoying this content. If not, it's kind of like what Mutt-Man said. I might have to adjust my plan and see what else. I always thought about, well, maybe people would like to watch me draw live on stream. No, people, I don't know. I'm not Jim Lee, and I'm not, whoever else. So nobody's going to want to watch me draw. They're going to like, what? You don't even talk when you draw. And I said, I know, I can't talk and draw at the same time. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but
that's what it is.
yeah, so I don't know how you are, Mutt, but I can't do that.
If I'm inking, I'm fine. I can't be creative and talk at the same time.
Right.
Mutt can barely chew gum and walk down the street at the same time. So.
Yeah, and it must be us artist types.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, but seriously, thanks for having us, Bruce. Like, I always love chatting with you, man, and you've been cool with us from the beginning, and we really appreciate you. And so thanks for the platform.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely, guy. Anything I could do to help you guys, even if it's just to come on my small channel and talk about your stuff, you're more than welcome to do it. You guys have been really cool ever since we met on Twitter. You're some of my Twitter friends, I guess. But yeah, so enjoyed having you on, talking about HIRO.
Right.
Everybody look for that.
Say bye.
Everybody look for that on Tuesday on Indiegogo. Time not yet set, but these guys will update you, let you know when.
Very soon.
And I wish you guys much luck with this, and I'll be back in it. So
hey man, appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys will do well. So Peace, everybody in chat. Thank you for showing up. And watch some of the other videos. There's a lot of good people on here. So I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye, guys. Thanks for
Take it easy.
Later.
All right.
Peace.
Later.